Right, hopefully the streams are back for people. I cut the camera when I cut the stream when the camera was broken because I needed to try unplugging it and replugging it in. I had to actually totally take the camera off because I don't know why that did that, but obviously the USB jammed. Right, I can't remember where I was speaking to people, but yeah, I was saying I got some Swiss Alpenflage trousers, and these are actually really good in terms of like the thickness and quality of them. So, same thing I've said with Flecktarn, it's much better than the British stuff. The British stuff is really crap in comparison. Not the camo patterns, but the material they make it out of. It just rips so easily, and that goes for both DPM and MTP. It's very crap if you compare it to lots of other nations' stuff. Yeah, you actually missed it, Mike, but the camera froze or broke when you were gone, so we had to stop the stream and start it, so you haven't missed anything, but yeah, that was very odd. There's not a GP6 mask as far as I'm aware. GP5M is what people know as a GP6, but there isn't a GP6. I assume Danpat is Danish pattern, is it? I'll have to look it up. Ah, you mean M81 camo? Danish Flecktarn? Is that what you mean? I like that, but sadly I've never seen any good stuff of it for sale. It's not like crap reproductions of it. DPM is not built like a tank, unless you've got the smocks or something like that. The trousers and the shirts are really thin. No idea. If you made a stupid comment, you've been blocked. If you made jokes about terrorism and stuff like that, you've been blocked. I won't unblock anybody if they've been blocked because you probably did something to deserve it. You just wipe it off with a damp cloth. No, haven't played CSGO in ages, haven't played TF2 in ages. Probably a Canadian C4 for my most desired mask. Yeah, it was annoying that your camera broke just before you did the streams, but yeah, it's typical, but like you said, mine just went funny. Oh yeah, it's the same thing with most nations, that obviously your actual domestic stuff is always easily available. The issue is getting it from abroad. No, the only Czech camo I've got is like that Czech M60 camo with the infrared layer and that like mechanics camo thing in the cap. As far as I'm aware, sulfur dioxide can be protected from a respirator. Hopefully it will come in time for your Friday stream then, Mike, if it comes by then. Have a look at some of the Estonian camos. It's quite similar to Cadpat, isn't it, the Estonian camo by the look of it, just more of an actual sort of DPM style design, like an actual disruptor. It looks quite nice actually. Some of the ones I'm seeing are digital though, some of them, well not digital, but you know, like the actual pixel camos. Others coming up are actually like splodge camos, so I don't know which the current one is, but both of them look quite nice. Right, let's see what I've missed, because obviously the problem with, like I said, even when I put this on slow mode, is people generally comment too fast that when I've answered the question, it's already really far in the thing. No, I buzz cut my hair years ago just because I wanted to cut my hair for cheap, rather than paying a hairdresser to do it, or a barber, whatever you want to call it. I haven't actually seen a lot of the Austrian camos. Not sure. Do you mean like the Wilbur 1 box respirators, or do you just mean how many British masks had like the box filters? Because with the box filters that would go up to the Mark 5 mask, so that would be 5, other than like random masks that also had it for industrial things. I just like rigger boots, but Rigger boots are obviously not what everybody likes. You can get like cheap walking boots that are alright. That was either the Coventer tank or the Valiant. I can't remember which one it was, but both were pretty awful tanks. Yeah, like regards to cutting your hair, you can buy a good clipper set for anywhere between like £20 and £50. And then obviously if you went to the barber to get your hair cut, even if you had them buzz cut you, it's normally like £10 plus. So within 5 haircuts you've paid off like even the most expensive things. I already answered that. I'm pretty sure it'll protect you from sulfur dioxide as long as you've got a combination filter on it. Yeah, I'm using OBS at the moment. The GSR is probably the one I think is most overrated, just simply for the fact it doesn't work. If you want to see what I think about a lot of these things, just look at my videos on them, because it's kind of like spam now, where people are like, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? I mean, I know we're mostly doing Q&A, but the problem is sort of, obviously with this, is that when you keep saying, what do you think about something you've previously done videos on, it's just really annoying. Because people on YouTube can view what they want, so depending on what people like, they can find videos on it. So I have people that are both very far left and very far right view my videos, as long as they don't start spamming their politics onto other people. I don't really care, to be honest, but we're not here to talk about politics, so let's not spam it. Is that the current finished camo? I'll have a look. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. That reminds me a lot of Cadpat. That looks very good actually. But yeah, pretty much any modern camouflage, as long as it's not got really bad colours in it, would be fairly decent. I don't think I've seen any camos for a while that I, objectively think would be bad. But any sort of Flectarn or like similar looking pixel camo, be good. There's quite a lot of Russian camos. The Russian camo I like is some of the ones I think they put on Gorka suits. I've heard it called partisan camo, but I don't think that's the real name for it. It's the one where it's like green, brown, and I think it might be like a shade of yellow. I'll have a look at Digital Flora and see if that's the, Yeah, Digital Flora's one of the ones I like, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. Let's type in Soviet Partisan Camo. Is that the one? Yeah, it comes up if you type in Soviet Partisan into Google Images. It reminds me a bit of, one of the Nazi German camouflages that they had during World War II, but I can't think which it is, but it's on a load of the Gorka suits and things like that. But it looks quite effective because the camo blobs are quite big on it, as well as it having macro and micro patterns. So it looks a fairly good camo, but again, there's lots of camos that are good. It's mostly about concealing yourself and everything like that. Pretty much any food that will store a long time is good for rations, especially stuff that's high in calories but small in size. Obviously doesn't go off. Ship's biscuits would be good for getting like food. Obviously you need to have a bit of a balance to it so you don't get scurvy after too long, but that's a very good thing. Yeah, as I said, Mike, Bad Ben is very good for what it actually is. But, yeah, obviously that was made by one guy with no budget. Alright, is the stream still running right? Yeah, because my computer just decided it was going to do some stuff in the background. I always worry if that will cut off the connection. When you say you want a flecked-on suit, do you just mean getting the trousers and the top half, or do you mean getting it on the boiler suit? But you can get flecked-on stuff for like a few pounds to a bit more depending on conditions, so for less than £20 you'd be able to get full flecked-on sort of clothes. Alright, obviously this person's just spamming. Yeah, you should never use a rebreather unless you know what you're doing. I'd like to get the Fushida, like actual military version, but I've never seen one for a sensible price. What question? The problem is, if you haven't seen me answer your question, repeat it, because I get too many comments coming in. Oh, so there's just some stupid spam thing going on, isn't that right? It's very easy to block you, that's the thing. Yeah, no idea, it's probably something. That's an SLR. No, I very rarely go on K. I sometimes look at the archive threads when there's something funny people link me to, but I only really browse TV and poll. Really all you need for a bunker is it to go deep enough underground and have a decent amount of concrete in it. I'm pretty sure the Finnish camo would work well in Finland, obviously, because most nations are quite good at designing camos that work in their own country. Yeah, the one that's like a wireframe grid Fallout play with a couple of dots on it, I've seen that. The military version of the Fushida has two things, like you can have a blanking plug, you can have the filter on left and right, and it has a drinking tube, that's it. Another Ardite spammer, right. So do I have any Yugoslav army equipment besides your gas mask and M70? I've got a few coats, but some of it's hard to say whether it's Serbian or Yugoslavia. I've got the old Yugo summer camo as well, which is great, which is like bright yellow camo. Yeah, that's a good price for a Mark IV with a scrim, that. Oh, is that a bit like a Swiss Army knife? Peach. Yeah, I normally always cut my own hair Neopapa just because it's cheap to do. Is that one of the J&A helmets that's got like the really funny shape to it? Because there's some Yugoslav helmets I've seen that almost look like the East German ones. CT12, neither of those two, but I like the FM12 more than the S10, but it's very similar. It would go CT12, FM12, S10. But the interesting thing is it would probably go CT12, then Fushida, then FM12. GP5 obviously, because my GP7's a piece of crap and doesn't work. When you say Nam Tiger, do you mean Tiger Stripe? That's really nice. Some of the German World War II camos are really nice looking. If I had a list of camos, I could probably pick some really nice ones. Rhodesian Bushstroke I really like as well, but sadly, I've said before with airsoft, it's like one of those things I'd like to do more, but I don't go often enough, so I don't have a non-two-tone gun. And that. Okay, so is that one where like the Bosnians put their like crest of arms on it, coat of arms, during the breakup of Yugoslavia to indicate which side they were? Or was it like one that was on there anyway? Because I imagine actual JNA ones would have just been the Yugoslavian flag, wouldn't they? Do you want to see something I built the other day? Because I finished it, although I'm not going to be able to fit it anywhere in frame. It's going to keep banging into the ceiling. So that's my 7'8" halberd. Yeah, I bought a forged head for it, then I bought a pole for it, and then I filed the pole down very slowly and fit the head to it. Do you mean Fallout player with the Warsaw Uprising? Yeah, Stalin ordered all the nationalist Poles killed after it, so it would be easier to conquer Poland. That's cool then, if this war, if you've got an actual, like, you know, helmet that's been modified during the war. I've got a compound bow, don't need another one of those. Don't have a long bow, but I've got a very, very tall, like nearly 6 foot actual recurve bow, so that serves as a long bow. I've got an original Stow helmet that's very rusty, missing a liner, yeah. But not on like a one in good condition. No idea. I've never seen a GP5 with that over it. No, halberds come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, same with pole arms. If you look them up online, you'll see loads and loads of different examples of what they can look like. There's almost no two pole arms the same, and I get really annoyed with people online, like, not saying you, but where there's people that argue over semantics of pole arms, like, oh, this can't be a bill hook because this one's got a slightly bigger curve on, we need to make a new name for it. If you look up halberds, there's lots of different designs for halberds, but halberds is generally the axe blade, the big spike, and then the, like, reverse spike. No, I don't have any Bosnian camos or uniform. I've only got some Serbian or Yugoslavian stuff. I haven't got any Croatian stuff either. German gas masks like the M65 are pretty cheap on eBay. That's pretty cool. I guess that was when they supplied Angola with during one of the Bush-type wars in Africa, because I know East Germany, a lot of the communist states were supplying a lot of the sides in civil wars in Africa. No, I've not got a PVRM, but that's like one of the sort of rocket helmets, not rocket helmets, rocket masks, isn't it? Favourite historical era, either Cold War or the medieval period. That's the ones I find most interesting, but there's lots of things I do find interesting with different periods. It's just there the two. I find Well, there's a lot of stuff I've already bought that the videos will be going live for in the next week, so just watch and see what's in the videos. Let's have a look at Belgian M90. Is Belgian M90 the Jigsaw camo, or is that an older one? Oh, that's Jigsaw. Yeah, I've got Jigsaw shorts on right now. So yeah, I like Belgian Jigsaw. It's a silly camo, but I quite like it. The Soviets made loads of similar models as similar masks because it was cheap and easy for them to do it logistically. If you've got a machine that can make 90% of a mask, then it's very cheap to just make different bits and swap them over rather than designing totally different masks. It's bought on D&B Military. Lots of sites in the UK sell deactivated guns. Now, I'm assuming the Russian submarine escape suit is some sort of rebreather setup, is it? I've seen a lot of Russian rebreathers, so it could easily be one of those. The problem is a lot of the modern Russian masks are sold with excessive shipping prices on eBay, so I have no interest in paying sort of £20 to have a mask posted, because that's just you getting scammed basically on postage costs. I can't join. Yeah, I think any Russian helmet would work fine with GP5. GP5s work fine with almost any helmet though, because it's a helmet mask, so it's flat latex on the top. You wouldn't have a problem with things fitting it. For the person earlier saying what do I think of Mark 6 helmets, I know it's one of the worst of the Kevlar style helmets, although it's ballistic nylon. Yeah, with Escape from Tarkov, I have the same opinion Worth a Buy has on it if you watch his channel, because he's like a decent review channel, and it's that they've put too many pay-to-win elements in it, so they're sort of sell-out developers, unfortunately. It won't matter how good the game is if it's got pay-to-win aspects. Because most companies don't sell their masks directly to civilians, you have to buy it like in a bulk order as a military or whatever else. I've got one of Barnett's slingshots, but you can make whatever slingshot you want. There's no law against it, as long as you don't shoot people with it. There's the Morrowind map. I think there's the Oblivion and Skyrim map somewhere else on the wall, and there's a small British Mammals poster. But it's mostly the Morrowind map people see and comment on because obviously they like the game. Yeah, there's been urban camos done in red, and some desert camos have been done in red before. Most of them didn't last long before they were phased out. And as I was saying, Swiss Alpenflage has got a lot of red on it, so there you go. Red on Swiss Alpenflage. Yeah, you just buy the ex-police stuff. That's very cheap. It's like £30, something like that. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find lots of places to buy SOEX Geiger counters. I think there's some on eBay, or you could buy directly from SOEX. I prefer MTP just because it works everywhere. DPM doesn't necessarily work everywhere, and I'm assuming you mean woodland DPM, not desert. You need to sort of state that if you say DPM, because there's two DPMs. I obviously like woodland DPM, but MTP is a much better camo in terms of working almost anywhere. And it's got more colours in it, and sort of better camo contrast and everything else. You'd have to fill a canteen up with tea if you want to drink it from an NBC suit. Yeah, I like Italian Vegeto quite a lot. Yeah, I think they even had the East German camo on Metal Gear Solid 3. Let me have a look and see if there's a list of all... see if there's a, like... Ah yeah, there's a wiki page for it, so I can have a look. The banana camouflage one looks quite funny. I like how there's the East German one on there in strict ton. Soviet Woodland, that looks quite a nice camo. But yeah, I haven't actually really played it, Metal Gear Solid 3, so I can't comment too much on it, but I know they did have all those camos in it. I haven't played MGS4. I've got a bald head because I've shaved my hair off. Oh, I really like the Webley, but it's obviously an obsolete caliber and everything, but sadly obviously can't own them here. Well, I'm hoping now Amber Rudd's lost her job that they're not going to put this through, but we don't know until obviously it actually happens. I'm not really sure on mod military stuff. No, never watched a lot of the wrestling. I know obviously a lot of it's fake. It's one of those things that'd probably be quite interesting to watch if it's on, but I wouldn't actively go and seek it out. I've done a video on MS4 filters with both the Polish MS4 and the Czech equivalent, the Czech Republic, not Czech Republic, Czechoslovakian equivalent. No idea, because there's never been a test done on them. I trust them more than Soviet filters, to be honest, but again, if you've got a modern filter, just use that. It's common sense, really. It depends in this country how long it's been considered obsolete, because I'm pretty sure Webley revolvers don't fall under that. Because there's lots of guns where they're no longer manufactured, all the calibers, but they're not all on the obsolete caliber list for the UK. It's generally much older stuff that's on that. Do you mean FP... When you say FP4, do you mean FP5 filters? FP5 filters work as long as you get one in date. I've got two British C7 respirators. They're pretty valuable because they were a limited time mask and then they were recorded and destroyed. And I've got an XM28 E4, which is almost impossible to get in the UK, but I've got one in the States. They're nowhere near as rare, but... Alright, glad you enjoy my videos. Alright, see you, Fallout player. Right, now I haven't had any spam for a while. I'll not slow it down, I'll like make it easier for people to comment. I don't know, getting asked the same questions over and over and over again, either on live streams or other things, is pretty annoying. So they did, Mike, and they did camos with funny effects on the day. That's quite interesting. Any filter that's like an ABEX style one, you know how good it is, so just get one as long as you know it's sealed properly and it's got a long date. I have no idea about different companies, how good their filters are. No, I've done videos on them, Neopapa, watch my videos on them. I'm not getting them all out on the stream because they're not stored easily, that I can get them down and put them back. Cheers, Waffleman. No, because I've only got one MS4 filter, so I don't want to cut it open. I don't really want to keep cutting filters open. I just did it with the GP5 filter because I've got about a dozen of them. And people always keep going, GP5 filter is perfectly safe, or there's no asbestos in it, so then you can prove it by just showing that layer. But I've got a Finish M61 V2 and a Finish M61 V3 mask. I might have a couple of other Finish things as well, but the masks are the ones I yeah, those two masks are the ones that are most obvious. I know the G36s had a load of problems where they were melting, weren't they? I think the PPSH 41 was about £200 when I bought it. No, as I said, I've only done the GP5 filter because I've got so many of them, they're common. And people argue about the GP5 filter a lot. I'm not going to be cutting filters open as a regular feature. The thing is, if you cut open a filter, nearly all filters look the same inside. You've got your particle layer, you've got your charcoal, then you've got an extra particle layer to stop you inhaling the charcoal. That's a filter. They're not very interesting. You can actually find cutaways of some filters online if you really wanted to see what coffee cans look like on the inside and other stuff. Alright, cheers Gasper if I've said that right. I know that there was a couple of weird space guns, just like there's a couple of weird underwater guns, but I've never looked into them too much. It depends, obviously, where you are, because if you're in a desert, saying a woodland camo is most efficient wouldn't be a good idea, sort of, and vice versa. British MTP and the same with multicam are very good all-round camouflages, and a lot of it's personal preference. I really like Flecktarn, but again, it depends where you are. There's not one best camo. Rebreathers do have eye protection if that's what you're thinking of, but rebreathers were originally so people underwater could use their thing for a very long period of time, and they didn't make bubbles when they were swimming underwater. They were like an old military invention because they came out before the aqualung. So before there was scuba diving equipment, there were rebreathers. eBay is where I get all my masks from. I don't think I've had any more lighters. I'm sure I'd have done a video on it if I did. I might try and do another video on lighters, comparing some or something like that, because I haven't done a lighter video in a while. But I haven't actually had any new ones or seen new ones that looked interesting. You can get FP5 filters that fit on the GP5. Yeah, I did it myself earlier, UK Survivor. I'll have a look at the TP82 because I've never actually looked it up. If you mean recognise outside, lots of people recognise me, but do you mean recognise me from YouTube? Only one or two people if it's ever happened. That's weird, isn't it? So it's got a stock that's a machete, and lots of other weird bits. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It looks almost like a shotgun with the front guard. It's a strange thing, isn't it? Could you load different ammunition into it then? Because it looks like they're putting both rifle and shotgun rounds into it in the picture. Alright, thanks Furious Ham. No, this is an old West German jacket. I've just got it on because it's really hot weather outside. It's just under 30 degrees. So I'm having something on without having to wear like a shirt. No, I don't listen to hip-hop. I've just got an FX 9590, which is an out-of-date processor now, and an RX 480. If you're going to build a gaming PC and you want to do it cheaply, use AMD processors, not Intel, because Intels are marked up a lot for not much performance increase. At least for the same price range ones. Yeah, I'm glad my halberd handle's finished now, because that was really sweaty work, sort of grinding that wood down, because I don't have many power tools. I was shaving lots of it off by hand, so it was just using a knife and going over and over and over. I was using the Mora mostly for that. But yeah, I've still got to tidy up all the wood shavings, but it was a very, slow job. Modern AMDs run about the same temperature as Intel, mate, so there's no difference. I haven't actually really seen it, Sage, so I can't comment on it. I just said it's an old West German vest. It's like an old Bundeswehr one. It's moleskin, so it's fairly comfortable. It's like one of those really lightweight summer jackets, so you could wear it with a shirt under it or without a shirt under it. In the winter you can wear it sort of on top of a shirt and then under a jumper. Only people on Patreon get my Steam profile now because I get too much abuse from people on here. M9 filters called M11 filters, yeah, contain asbestos, so don't use it. Alright, cheers, Punisher. Yeah, did it about an hour before I started streaming. For people on Patreon, they only have to pay $1. But yeah, it's just I only gave it to people on the Patreon server, because when I used to hand it out to people on here, you get lots of weird messages, spam messages, people sending you links to dodgy stuff. So yeah, obviously, because I don't want to get spam from loads of invitations from people I have no idea what they are, then I don't hand them out in streams. There's 0.5mm left, because I didn't use a razor blade. Unless I see a Gorka suit really cheap, no, because I don't see what the point is in spending hundreds of pounds on a Gorka suit. Well, an FP5 filter is like a modern GOST filter, it's more than standardised. Right, I'll have a look at Miltech Bolo then. So it's just a short machete with a rounded edge. Might work fine. I wouldn't call it a bolo though. Which bow? There's several bows behind me. Just look at my videos on bows on the channel. Haven't tried Dead Frontier, no. I've been camping quite a few times. I went camping in Scotland. That was a good thing. Like, we took the car with the tent in. We go to different campsites all around Scotland. That was good fun. GTX 1050 might be a bit underpowered. You're going to probably want a 1060 or better. Or, like saying, I've got an RX 480, so the RX 580 is the equivalent of that, and that's very similar to a 1060. Yeah, £77 seems far too much for a sort of piece of clothing for me. I haven't actually got an M74, but I assume it's very similar to an M65, so I doubt it'd be much better or much worse, to be honest. Functioning gun, I thought you said functioning pen then, because I have this, which I often have on me, the tactical pen. Yeah, GP5 filters certainly do contain asbestos, but, you know, lots of sellers unfortunately lie about that because they can. I don't have a problem with people selling GP5 filters. I wish they'd stop pretending it's safe, because then people go, oh, I saw sellers claim it's safe, so you're wrong, they're totally safe, even though there's loads of lab asbestos reports you can look at on them. Oh, the British Army now is putting a drill sergeant on a court-martial or something because he shouted at somebody, so, you know, it is getting more and more of a joke. What do you mean as in people buying out all the GPUs for bit mining, or the fact that they're not going to get any money back from bit mining? Yeah, I think the Soviets saw some spies out a pen gun as well that could shoot like a cyanide capsule out of it, or a little bullet. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, if you like the stream, more people are likely to see it, although I won't be doing it for too much longer now. Alright, yes, happy birthday Crazy Cow. Not sure if I just said that or not. No, 4A1 filters, they're called Israeli Type 80 filters. They're perfectly safe. They're very good filters, as long as your mask actually comes with a genuine filter. I like the Sergio Leone westerns, like The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Few Dollars More, Once Upon a Time in the West, all those. I don't really like the older John Wayne westerns as much. Some of them are alright, but they're a bit campy in my opinion. Oh, here's the thing, Nathan. At the time, at least you'd have lived if you had a GP5 and the filter, where in the West you weren't issued a mask at all, so you'd be dead in regards to chemical and nuclear warfare. So it's junk by today's standards, yeah, but at the time it'd have kept you alive. Alright, see ya. Yep. I don't know if the US M40 outserts would fit on a few other American masks, so I imagine the outserts are a similar shape to the triangle lenses on other masks, but I don't actually know. Same with M17 outserts. If you got the green M17 outserts, would they go on M9s and finish M61s? I actually really don't know. Never played Fortnite. Yeah, glad you like those PBK ones. The PBK knives are really good on blades and bows. Like, they're obviously just stainless steel cheap knives, but they come sharp and they're actually good, aren't they? I don't know who are the dummies, but yeah. Saying if you want to support me on Patreon, you only have to do $1 a month. That's the lowest amount I have it set to. It's basically set up so you can donate whatever you want, but there's no extra features for people paying more. It's just obviously nice if they do, but it's totally up to you if you want to donate or not, obviously. There's no filters that look like GP5 filters, if that's what you're getting at. But there's nothing stopping you painting another filter the same shade of green as a GP5 filter. No, not really, Game Maniac, but what you'd need to do is keep active, actually doing stuff. Don't sit around sort of moping around. Obviously, if you've got some sort of actual brain thing, you'll need to see a doctor for tablets. But we won't go into all stuff like that here. No, there's no such thing as dummy filters, mate, because there's not a market for them. There's a Patreon link in every description on every video that's been up for the last year or so. Again, you only have to donate $1 on Patreon to get all the features. With the Discord server, though, what you have to do is you have to PM me once you've, if I don't spot it first, once you sign up on Patreon, you have to PM me, because we had somebody try and raid the server at one point, so now I hand out individual invites that only have like one invite on them for each person, so people can't get an invite that then lets them send it out to loads more people, unfortunately. Yeah, that's good, Mike, yeah. If you ever set up a Discord, Mike, I'll send you an invite to the Patreon thing for my thing. Discord sort of thing, you know what I'm on about. Yeah, knife laws in the UK might get worse, we don't know at the moment. Yeah, Simo Hayas, or Haya, however it's pronounced, is the White Death. I've been to the sort of region in Finland where a lot of the Winter War was as well. I really don't know, Coco Stewart, regarding obsolete calibers. It's, I think, however, the law defines it as obsolete, so there's probably no actual logic to it, but I know there's lots of old rifles which are obsolete, you know, proprietary calibers. Because I was born in '93, it's normally quite obvious when people have a year number, it's the year they're born. Every Soviet filter, pretty much, I think, and World War II filters from pretty much any nation, but there's not loads more than that. But with communist China and stuff like that, I have no idea if and when they stop using asbestos. Alright, see you, Game Maniac. Yeah, I'd love to go to the States at some point, mate. No, I have no animal gas masks, and there aren't many around. A couple of nations made dog masks for military dogs and horse masks for horses, and that's about it. I have no idea what some people are arguing about in the chat. I know it's a Monty Python reference, but... Well, what would be the difference between normal filter and coffee can and the big filters is big filters last longer, but they weigh more, like box filters, so you have them on a hose. But obviously coffee can filters as well contained asbestos, the Soviet ones. Because I'm interested in militaria in general, Eric, and gas masks are the cheapest way of buying it, for the most part. Like, you can also buy some camo stuff as well, but Like, if you look at the prices of rifles and, like, helmets and stuff like that, they're massively higher than getting respirators. Because Coco Stewart, literally every mask company does not sell to the public if they're a military contractor. Because lots of their stuff's considered military hardware. So you can buy it as surplus often, but it's not something that's sold. It's like saying, why wouldn't Enfield sell Enfield rifles to the public? I prefer the old leather style boots. I can't really get too specific on that, but like I've had some old Austrian boots of different types and they're good. But when I've tried newer boots, I've found although they're like more comfortable and lighter weight, they tend to fall apart faster than the old leather ones. Well, do you mean where they had to release all the water because they are pouring all the sand in Neopapa? Well, Toasty, I've already said several times what my favourite mask is, so it'd be my favourite mask. No, I don't have an Instagram. That's my bed behind me. I don't know, Ralph, if you're getting ignored. The IP5 with a new canister, because it's actually guaranteed to work to a degree. But you'd have to know to take it off pretty quickly so you don't run into problems. Oh, if you were saying about did I own a bug out bag earlier, yeah, I've got a bug out bag, but not a very detailed one. I need to redo it and do a video on it. Yeah, I've never used foot rags. I know they're meant to be quite good in boots compared to socks, but as I said, I've never used them. I've got quite a few military helmets. My favourite one, even though it looks silly, is the East German helmet. The M56. I've not got an M95, no. The M56, I've got like the modernish British one, the one they changed from a few years ago, but that's not that great a helmet. I've already answered you, Grallock. Stop spamming a question. No, I do not believe in demonic possession. No, there's some GSRs that work. The issue is that there was massive quality control problems with them, where lots of them just didn't work off the bat and they had to be replaced. And obviously that's not good with a respirator. A respirator has to work all the time, or the soldier using it is dead if they have to rely on it. And there's been lots of other problems with them, you know, bits that would break really easily, like the rubber's already splitting on mine, despite the fact mine's only about 10 years old, where I've got masks from World War II that still have good condition rubber. I have seen a black multicam, yeah, I don't see what the point is. What's the point in multicam and then make it black? Same with lots of other camo. What I actually watched recently, Mike, is I watched all of Hornblower, which was really good, and I'm watching all of Sharp now at the moment, because I quite like those Napoleonic War things. Yeah, the GSR works if it's in perfect condition. The issue is it has lots of design flaws and the quality control on them is awful. I watch Lindy Bage's videos now and again, only if I'm really interested in what he's saying. Greylock says, can you do an American accent, please? I have no idea whereabouts in America that would be, but there you go. Yeah, I've seen Enemies at the Gates and lots of other World War II films, it's alright. Yeah, I need to watch all the Hellraisers again. I've got the first 1 and 2 on DVD, and I think I've got one of the much later ones on DVD, and I can't remember which. But I liked 1 and 2 a lot. I think the later one wasn't that great. No, I haven't heard of the Chieftain. The only Chieftain I know of is the Chieftain tank. Well, Martini Henry's really simple, isn't it? There's nothing that can almost break on it because you're just literally inserting one round and shooting it. Well, yeah, you've probably seen all my videos on Punisher on the new knife laws, so you know I don't agree with them. But yeah, if you haven't seen Hornblower, Mike, check out Hornblower, they're good. They're sort of, it's a TV series, but they were like hour and a half, it's like sharp, like hour and a half episodes. They're almost like individual films, each episode. I think there was 8 episodes and one's a 2-part one. But it's all sort of Royal Navy fighting the French and Spanish in the sort of Napoleonic Wars and the French Revolution period. Hellraiser is a series of films, Grellock. That's pretty cool. I mean, a Martini Henry in a caliber that you can actually get a hold of easier must be really nice, because I know the issue with Martini Henrys is lots of people have to hand load them, don't they? It's obviously a totally obsolete caliber and not many companies probably make the ammo. I already answered that. Smoking Tuka, probably a Canadian C4. Maybe an Avon M50. Oh, I see that you're just spamming, yeah. We get people like Sebastian quite a lot on here, which basically come on, they're like, why'd you collect this, that's stupid. It's like the ones Mike gets on his streams. Until you get really hungry and need to eat, Coco Stewart, because you can keep drinking with an FM12 because you've got the drinking tube. Yeah, most World War II masks all had hoses on Sage. But as for modern masks, very few do. I think Israel now and again uses masks with hoses, but modern masks normally always just have small filters on the mask, whereas an old design, you know, the older designs. Oh, thank you very much, Waffleman. Cheers. Yeah, so thank you. Did you have a particular question or anything? But thanks for the donation anyway. I appreciate that. Pritchard bayonet. Let's have a look at that then. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's the Webley bayonet, isn't it? There's also like a Sten gun bayonet, because there's some guns you think, why would they do a bayonet on it? But that's pretty cool. Do you know how long the stream's been going for? Because I think the counter only counts from when I restarted the stream. Let's have a look. Does it tell me on here? And I assume it still thinks it's the same stream going, so it's probably been about 53 minutes. I like the Vulcan. My favourite plano is the Stuka. And I also like the A-10. I like a lot of the close air support planes, like the Illusion, was it IL-10 as well? No, it's the IL-2, isn't it, Sturmovik? The IL-10's kind of like the upgraded IL-2. No, the Sten gun was really cheap and crap, but the point was it was cheap and very mass producible. So it's like a crap gun that worked well enough for what it was intended for. No, if you've binned a filter, that's probably illegal, because in most nations, binning asbestos is a crime, because you're exposing people to asbestos when they destroy it. No, I don't own an M40 because they cost too much to buy in the UK. One of my favourite knives is this. This is a modern built version of it, but the actual Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife, this is the third pattern type one with the ribbed handle, but obviously it's just designed for one thing, and that's to stab. But yeah, they're very nice knives. In terms of practicality, K-bar kind of Bowie knives I like as well. No, the mags apparently are the worst part of the Sten. The Sten is apparently good if you use it with a decent magazine, but the Sten mags aren't good. Yeah, so no point paying that for an Avon M53. Wait a few years until they're a lot cheaper. Yeah, no idea all these distribution centres, Mr. Mao. If you bought on eBay and it doesn't turn up, you're entitled to a refund. S10 obviously, because it's a newer mask, built a lot more solidly. Takes proper filters. Alright, see you, Punisher. Didn't Baron also make a lot of the C4 masks as well? Well, the actual bug out bag itself doesn't contain anything. It's what you put in it, mate. The actual bag is just a bag of your choice. Yeah, well, you'll be entitled to a refund if Royal Mail lose your parcel. Yeah, I've been to Poland. I went to Warsaw, Krakow, a couple of other places. Gdansk was one of them. No, Gdansk, sorry. A couple of places. Yeah, I really like Poland. I've been to Czech Republic as well, Slovakia very briefly, Hungary. You know, quite a lot of places in Central Europe. I'm not going anywhere this year, no. You'll have to contact your local asbestos removal thing and follow all the rules for them. Well, yeah, rubber masks smell of rubber. That's pretty much what you're going to expect. That was years ago that I was in Poland. Well, not years and years ago. I think it was probably... it's 2015 I was in Poland. Yeah, 2015. Yeah, I wanted to go to Pripyat a couple of years ago, mate, and the Ukrainian civil war happened, and it became much harder to do. Yeah, I've been to Greece years ago, and I mean literally years ago. I went to Greece around the time of the Olympics, but that was on Rhodes Island, but not, you know, Rhodes Island in America. It's the Rhodes in Greece. But that was years and years ago. That's an L1A1 SLR behind me. No, I've not been to Romania, mate. So closest I got to Romania was Hungary. That's weird. I have no idea then how you're meant to get that smell out of there. Yeah, it's real but deactivated, sadly, so it means it won't shoot. Right, see you, Bob Stone. So I only have the stream on for a few more minutes because it's been nearly an hour and it's getting very warm in here. Because for some reason when I start streaming, obviously it uses more CPU power. So then computer fans work harder and it's already a 30-degree day, so my room's just getting warmer and warmer, and I've turned the aircon off. Well, not aircon, but evaporative cooler. I've turned that off, obviously, so you don't have a really loud fan noise in the background, but that's making the room uncomfortably warm. No, sadly I've not been to the US. I would love to go to the US, though. I'll have to save up and do that. Oh, Nuka-Cola's from Fallout, it's not real. Yeah, but when you say 90, you mean in Fahrenheit, don't you? So what's 90 F to C? Yeah, so it's almost the same temperature as 2 centigrade warmer than it is in my room, basically. If you're buying a mask from the US, you can't. Unless it's not a US Army mask, it's illegal for you to do it. So let's not talk about that. I don't agree with the law, but we're not going to talk about trying to get around it. Love the Stalker games, mate. No, a couple of my mates have got other military stuff, and some of them have a couple of gas masks that they bought out of, you know, curiosity, but I've never met anybody else that's got a big collection. Yeah, if you go to an industrial store that sells RD40 ABEC filters, that would be probably an easy way of getting them and checking the dates. Yeah, if I go to the US, I'd obviously go shooting. That would be one of the main reasons I'd go, mate. Alright, cheers, Shackleton. I've been to Normandy because I went with my granddad when I was really young, because he was obviously there during the war. But, yeah, I've not been since, but, yeah, we went there when I was like 5 or 6, so sadly I was too young to understand all of it. Probably won't be streaming tomorrow, no. This is meant to be like yesterday's stream, I just couldn't do it yesterday because I was out. 60 euros if it is a genuine World War II one in good condition. Yeah, that would be a very good price for it. But yeah, it depends if it's genuine, because like a lot of people will try and pass off GM54 masks as GM30s. Well, it depends. I think in the US, you can buy a US mask, put it in your hand luggage or in, you know, your suitcase and go on holiday, and then you can obviously take it away with you, or you can visit the US, buy US masks, take them away, that's fine. You can't send them directly, because it's considered sending military goods out of the US. I kind of like being a loner in Stalker, because that's the way you're meant to play it, but when I play something like Call of Chernobyl, I normally do ecologists. I've got a video, Mr. Mao, on my deactivated gun, so watch that and I'll go over all of them in detail in the video. That's the French one, isn't it, the mass? But yeah, that'd be great, and if you're in the US, you can actually buy the rifles, not like just the other bits. I absolutely hate the new laws coming in, Pirate. I've already done videos talking about how stupid they all are. Are these just the Russian ABEC filters when they say modern GP5 filters? I think the Metro games are alright. They're not really the type of games I like. The one that comes out, what's it? Not Last Light, that's already out. Whatever the Metro game is that's not out yet, that might be alright, I don't know. Totally depends on the gun. Something like a PPSH is only about £200. Something like the SLR was, well, I think the SLR was about 400. So yeah, the most expensive one was the SLR and the Enfield. They were about £400. Some of the others were cheaper. The RAF used to have a nuclear role because they used to have the nuclear bombs on the planes and the short-range nuclear missiles on the Vulcans, as they originally did. I haven't played the Last of Us games properly, so I haven't played Last of Us 2, I don't even know if that's out yet. The only game that's got a gas mask in that kind of works like a gas mask is the Metro series, but then the filters run out every 5 minutes, so that's not realistic. So there's not really been a realistic game with a gas mask in. I don't know, I think some people don't understand how gas masks or respirators work, so then they think anything that looks like it has a filter on is therefore a gas mask. No, because I don't have a console that it'll be on, so I have no interest in Red Dead Redemption 2. If they bring it out on PC, it might be alright, but if it's just only on consoles, I haven't got an interest. There's a lot of Italian masks that look similar to the French ones, if you mean the French M50 ones, so it could be that. I think there was one guy asking me who's making a Stalker mod and talking about gas masks, but other than that, they don't care, because it's whatever is good in the game they want to make, not realism, really. Yeah, that's strange, but I bet you can own more firearms in Poland than we can own here. There's all these sort of laws that vary around there, because I've met people from other countries who've said, you know, that they can buy a pistol without much problems, but then they can't get a crossbow or they can't get an air rifle. There's lots of weird stuff like that. No, I've not played Rust. Alright, Budget Model Railways newsletter. The stream's not going to be on for much longer, I'm afraid. Oh, I'll have a look at that, Mike. That's not too far away from me. It's not me though, Mike. Obviously, you can see my excuse, because I'm on here, so I can't be... says it's a residential property, so it's not being treated as terrorism, so I assume it's some sort of domestic incident where somebody has a gun. But There was an armed incident literally a mile from my house a year or two ago when some guy was holding his family hostage with a shotgun, but I think they talked him out of it or tased it. Oh, the radio attachment plugs into your radio, so you can talk on the radio through the mask. Thought that'd be fairly straightforward. Yeah, I played Payday 2 when it was like a new game out. I haven't played it in ages. Yeah, I'm not sure, Nathan, what that would be in the mask that hurts your nose, but... Far Cry 2 was a game that could have been really good, but because the enemies kept respawning every 10 seconds, it wasn't that great. I really hated the malaria mechanic as well. Far Cry 2, I think, is the only game I've ever played that made me feel ill, and I think it was some sort of motion blur thing that you couldn't turn off. But I couldn't play Far Cry 2 for more than about 20 minutes without getting a headache. It was really desaturated as well. I think that was partly to do with it. No, I'm unfit to serve, Tim, and I'm fairly happy about that because it means I won't get my legs blown off royal. Yeah, $11 is good for an SHMS. I'm not going to look at random people's videos on GP5s. If they're dumb enough to use the filter, then, you know, they're dumb enough to use the filter. Far Cry 1's good. There's the good Xbox ports of Far Cry 1 as well. I liked Far Cry 3, I especially like Blood Dragon. I've got Far Cry 4 on Steam and barely played it, and then Far Cry 5 I've had no interest in whatsoever. Yeah, $50 is good for a CT12. No, I do not have Battletoads. Well, we're well over an hour now, so I'll probably be wrapping up the stream fairly soon. I assume it only plugs into a military radio. I don't have anything it plugs into, so I don't know what the specifics are. I think it's called the Klansman radio it plugs into. So you'd have to look at those and see what the plugs are and everything else, and see if there's any other things that have the same plug. It depends what Austrian mask it is. Yeah, well, the haircut serves doubly for the masks and also because it keeps my head cool. I've played Halo 1 and 2. I'm not married. Unless you're talking to somebody else. I did, have you seen the Asbestos Christmas video I did last Christmas as a joke? Opening the Asbestos presents. I've played Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Yeah, as long as you use a normalised filter with it, it's fine. The CM4 doesn't fit me properly though, same as M65s don't fit me, because my face shape is obviously too different than the masks. And the peripheral seals aren't very good. The Israeli M15 fits me fine though. I've read Roadside Picnic and I've seen the Stalker film. I really like the book Roadside Picnic. I didn't like Tchaikovsky's film, whatever he's called. I absolutely found Stalker really boring. Some of the shots look alright in it, but I just found the film boring, to be honest. Because at the time they thought it was safe, and it obviously wasn't. To be fair, most nations knew by the 50s asbestos wasn't safe. It was just super cheap, so they kept using it. Hearts of Iron 3 I really like. I've got 4 and I don't really play it. Yeah, that would also work. Yeah, I was saying, I really like the book Roadside Picnic, I just didn't like the Stalker film. It's not that closely based on the book anyway, is it, the film? For now I've got a Golf, but I'm probably going to have to get rid of that, sadly. I've already been over that several times, Growlock, so I'm not going to go over it again. The East German uniforms are quite good, but they look sort of like Nazi uniforms. But they're the only actual uniforms I've got. Otherwise, I've just got lots of camo gear. Anyway, I'll probably wrap that up now because it's gone on for an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, the film Stalker isn't that closely based on Roadside Picnic, to be honest. It's about a load of people who sit in a zone doing nothing for hours, and that's about it. Cool, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, your camera will be there soon, Mike, because I definitely missed not seeing your streams at the weekend. Obviously a lovely pair of Rhodesian short shorts. Why is that even a thing? I think I did see some short shorts, though, on eBay that were a military issue one, but they weren't Rhodesian ones, but I thought, oh, I might buy them, and then totally forgot about it. Alright, yeah, cheers everybody for the donations who donated. Alright, see ya.